Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. We are from Group 1. In this occasion, we would like to present about emergency remote teaching in EFL context. Before we start the presentation this morning, here are the members of the first group. The first, Rahma Haritsa Fitriani. Second, Calista Tiara Putri. And the third, Uswatun Hasanah. The first slide is content of emergency remote teaching in EFL context. For the first point is what is happening, especially in Indonesian. Second point, voices from teachers. Third point, things to keep in mind. And the last point is 6 top teach tools. So, let's start to the material.
The world is undergoing so many changes due to the pandemic coronavirus. One of the biggest global changes that have come from this pandemic is emergency remote teaching. While a lot of people, including teachers and students, are saying that they are now practicing online learning. In an effort to be better understand what emergency remote teaching is versus online learning, we'll break it all down here. What is emergency remote teaching? Emergency remote teaching, or ERT, is meant to be a temporary shift from the normal modes of teaching. It happens when teaching becomes remote or distant. These texts that would have otherwise been face-to-face or hybrid teaching and transform it to become digital education. When a crisis occurs that necessitates school to shut down, emergency remote learning may be in the form of online lessons, radio, or blended learning solutions. What is online learning? Online learning is a method of instruction that takes place over the internet, sometimes called e-learning. It's a form of education that happens at a distance rather than within a classroom setting. Online learning was created to leverage technology and provide students with the opportunity to earn degrees and or attend school without having to be in an academic setting. The next is benefits of online learning. The first is potentially more choice when it comes to course selection. Number 2, increased level of responsibility and time management. Number 3, personal satisfaction. Number 4, career advancement. Number 5, a flexible schedule and environment. And then the last is lower cost compared to traditional school.
The next slide, emergency remote teaching versus online learning. In fact, there is a big difference between emergency remote teaching and online learning. What is the difference? It is important to recognize the difference between emergency remote teaching and online learning. Here are some of the main differences. Online learning, designed purposely to be remote and distant, regarded as a main mode of education, not an exception. Accessible and voluntary, meant to be a long-term solution, not urgent. All resources are accessible, has full faculty support, and students are voluntary and listening. Online learning can be designed in a variety of ways. There are many considerations when planning how to conduct online learning, including modality, instructor role, student role, student-to-teacher ratio, pedagogy, sources of feedback, role of online assessment. And then, how about emergency remote teaching? Emergency remote teaching, activated in response to a crisis or something beyond human control, meant to be temporary, may lack resources, may not have full faculty support, and students may not have a choice. Evaluating emergency remote teaching. While the current status of emergency remote teaching is hopefully not going to last too long, it has raised many questions for institution, education department, especially students and teachers. There are ongoing evaluation of how successful it has and has not been. Here are some things to be sure to evaluate as an educational provider to better prepare emergency remote teaching should it be needed again. First, choose how to define success for emergency remote teaching. Define success from every shareholder's point of view, for example, faculty and students. Second, how much extra time was required of teachers? Third, how were learners able to access material and courses? Fourth, if someone didn't have internet access, are there other solutions for learning? And the last, how is data and privacy secured during sessions? And then, how to make emergency remote teaching work. Consider these 9 best practice and tips when you have to adjust to emergency remote teaching. The first is communicate frequently, because communication is important thing or key in any type of remote setting. You can use platforms such as emails, smartphone, WhatsApp application, and so on. Second, prioritize needs. Emergency remote teaching can happen anytime. It means that it is a good idea to prioritize what has to be done and what can be changed in a new situation. Third, be flexible. When you have to remotely teach, it helps to be flexible and creative with instruction and process. Fourth, establish routines. Have class time at the same time every day and hold meetings regularly. Next, collaborate. Work together with school faculty and staff to learn from one another and for sharing ideas that can be work and successful. 6. Engage the school community. Get feedback from parents and teachers before enacting big changes. And then next, develop contingency plan. Because technology may not work and things will likely not always go as planned, have backup plans for when things fail. Next, practice and promote well-being. Emergency remote teaching can cause stress, so take breath and give yourself time to adjust. And the last is learn. You can evaluate what works and doesn't work and learn from each experience every day to get better over time.
And then voice prompt teach during ERT. Once frequently used teach tools. 3 favorite technology tools for teaching are Zoom, WhatsApp, and Google Classroom. 2. Teachers' failings. The teacher have several failings such as challenge, confuse, create, tried, shock, happy, create, interesting. 3. Common problems. Interaction, enjoyment, motivation, all is autonomous learners. And then things to keep in mind. 5 things to keep in mind during ERT. 1. Compete with the mass distraction. 2. Stick to the essentials. 3. Spread learning and practice. 4. Use relevant prior knowledge. 5. Giving support and guidance during practice. And then 6 top teach tools for online learning. 1. Screencast TV. 2. Learningapps.org. Genially, Padlet, Flipgrid, and AD Puzzle.